Oh, hi, and welcome or welcome back to another episode of Then We Eat. On today's episode, we'll be making a tuna bean salad. So the first thing we want to do is we want to open up our tuna and drain all the water off. I'm using a solid white tuna. This is albacore in water. I prefer it in water. If you like it in the oil, get whatever tuna it is that you like. So I'm going to try and do this. I'm going to drain the water off into my little glass dish here, and I'm going to give it to my cat. So I'm hoping she doesn't interfere with this video. Okay, well, you may have seen a glimpse of her. She's raring to go. So you want to get as much of the water out as you can. You want your tuna to be as dry as you can get it. So I just opened the can, pushed the lid in, and I used that to drain all the liquid. So I'll be right back and we'll continue with the video. And we're going to add our tuna to our bowl. Now the tuna that I used was supposed to be a whole chunk. You just want to break it into some smaller pieces. And we'll put this aside for now. So the next thing we need to do is we need to open up our can of beans and we need to drain them and rinse them. So the easiest way to do this is we're going to take the top off. I'm going to take it over to the sink. I'm going to dump it into a colander and rinse them off, and we'll be back when I'm done. Okay, so these are my beans. They've been rinsed and drained. I'm going to add them to the bowl. These beans happen to be navy beans. The original recipe when I first started making this, I used Great Northern beans. Unfortunately, they're next to impossible to find. So just find a nice white bean that you like, or if you like a red bean, then whatever the type of bean is that you like, add it in. So again, I'm going to put this off to the side while I get the rest of my ingredients chopped. I'm also going to add 1/4 cup of finely diced red onion. So here's my onion. Dump it in. We'll put this off to the side. Now the next thing I need is another 1/4 cup of fresh parsley. This has just been picked from our garden. I'm just going to grab a couple of the leaves off of here and put the stems in the compost. We'll start with this much to begin with. I've got this little gizmo here that's supposed to be good at cutting up my herbs. I'm going to try it and see how well it works. And we'll see if we have 1/4 cup. Okay, I'm just going to do up a tiny bit more, and there's my 1/4 cup. So the next thing I need to do is I need to chop 1 medium tomato. Here's my tomato, and it's going to cut the top and the bottom off, and we'll give it a chop. I'm just going to use the same cutting board. It doesn't matter if I've got parsley all over this. It's all going into the same place anyway. And there's my tomato. So now I'm going to add my tomato and my parsley to the bowl with the beans and the tuna. And then goes the parsley. So there's the main ingredients. I'm just going to give it a slight mix, and then we're going to put it aside while we make the dressing. So the first thing I need for my dressing is a tablespoon of lemon juice. I have these nice fresh limes. I'm going to squeeze the limes, and I'm going to use lime juice instead of lemon juice. If you don't have limes and you have bottled lemon juice, you can certainly use that. Fresh is so much better. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll my lime on my counter. That softens up all the rind inside. It lets you squeeze it easier. So we'll cut that in half and we'll give it a squeeze and see how much we get. Okay, so I think I've got a tablespoon here. We're going to add this to our bowl. Yep, there is a tablespoon. To this, we want to add 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard and 1 teaspoon of a sweet mustard. The one I'm using today is a honey mustard. I normally use a Russian mustard, but I couldn't find it in the stores this time. So anything sweet. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of chopped garlic, and I'm just going to give that a whisk. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper. And we're going to give that a whisk. You can really smell that sweet mustard. It smells really good. Now our last ingredient to our dressing is a half a cup of olive oil. I'm just going to start slowly drizzling it in while I'm whisking up the mustard mixture. And there's our dressing. Now I'm going to add a little bit of my dressing to my tuna and bean mixture. I don't want to add it all because I don't want it to be saturated in dressing. I just want it to have a nice flavor. So you can add however much you like in your salad. So I'll start with a ladle. We'll give that a mix in. And we'll give it another ladle. I only have a little tiny bit of dressing left, but I think I'm going to call it there. The mixture has a nice coating on it, and I'll put the extra on the table. If somebody wants extra on their salad, then they can add it to their own plate. So there's our tuna bean salad. Now the best way to eat this is on a bed of lettuce. So I'm going to chop up some romaine lettuce and we'll be back in a few minutes. So here's my romaine lettuce. We'll chop up some and that'll be the basis for our salad. Now this salad does taste better if you're able to let the tuna and the bean mixture sit with the dressing on it for a little while. I probably haven't left it long enough. It'll be fine, but you get more flavor if you let it sit a little bit longer. So let's start building our salad. Add a little bit of lettuce to our plate. And we'll add our salad on top of our lettuce. And there you have it, your tuna bean salad. It's great for hot nights. Today happens to be pretty warm here. We don't really want a warm meal, so this is perfect. So I think we should give it a taste and see how we did. It is so good and so refreshing. You get the flavor from the lime juice, and it actually does make it taste much better. You get the hint of garlic, and that Russian mustard is absolutely fantastic. Overall, this is great. Well, that pretty much does it for this video. Hit the like button if you liked what you saw. Share it with all your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And comment down below. What do you think of this salad? Do you think you would make it? Or better yet, what would you like to see us make next? And don't forget, first we cook, then we eat. So good.